Hi, I am in Paris here in front of UNESCO's headquarters, as you can see. And I would like to update you on a very important conference that is going to take place here next week. And it's about the ethics of climate change. And this conference is going to complement the Paris Agreement that was adopted here in Paris, and which is about limiting climate change. It's a practical agreement that proposes a couple of practical measures to limit climate change, like emitting less carbon dioxide or transferring money from rich countries to less rich countries to help them deal and mitigate climate change. But this practical agreement does not ask the underlying ethical questions like how to make the right choices. How can we make sure that we do this right? What do we need to think of? What are our responsibilities? And with regard to which groups? And that is what the world will be discussing here next week. Many diplomats and experts on climate change will come here to draft the first UN declaration on the ethical principles in relation to climate change. Now, what is ethics? Ethics is about doing the right thing, about making the right choice. And to do that, you need to know what is important. And this is what this declaration is going to propose some principles for that are going to help governments make the right choices. For example, the practical Paris Agreement, the practical one, only talks about vulnerable groups. But which are those groups? And how can we determine what those groups are? Is it young children? Is it farmers? Is it elderly people? Or is it people who live on islands that are about to disappear and who have to go somewhere because the sea level is rising, so soon those islands will no longer exist? Those are very difficult ethical questions. And how do you deal with these priorities? How to make the right choices? That's very difficult, and actually there is no final answer. But this ethical declaration will provide some principles that enable governments and experts to think about it, to be more sure that they make ethical and good decisions. Now, this may sound very theoretical, and I can very well imagine that. So I'm going to give you one example of how this can work. Think of the following vulnerable group that you may not have thought of, namely the future generation that will live in the year 2500. And now imagine that this group has the possibility to watch us here and now doing what we're doing, and the way we live, the way we use oil and burn coal, etc. They would probably be fuming mad because they see how we are compromising the conditions for their future life. So an ethical thing to do would be to ask them, do you think this is right? And to give them a voice so that they could answer. Well, you might say this is strange, this is very surreal. I mean, this is not implementable. Well, actually it is, and I can even tell you that there are several countries who already did that. Israel, there's a commission for future generations. Hungary has a parliamentary commissioner for future generations, and there are many other countries too. So this is a very nice example of how a declaration on ethical principles could inspire a country to take measures to make the right choices in the face of climate change. If you find this interesting, please follow us on Twitter via #UNESCO Climate so that we can update you on how this conference is going to play out next week. Thank you.